Ancient Rome went from kings to a republic and an empire. The ancient Roman civilization existed for about 13 centuries from the 8th century BCE until the 5th century AD. Different forms of government in its history determined the following periods. The royal period 750 to 510 BC, when a small state expanded to the limits of the Apennine Peninsula. Republic 510 to 27 BC, which combined elements of democracy, aristocracy and monarchy. Roman Empire 27 BC for 76 AD. The Roman Empire lasted 500 years. In the first 2 centuries, it was at the peak of its development and achieved its greatest territorial expansion. Then growing problems led to a crisis. Finally, in the 4th century, the empire split into 2 parts. Invasions of barbarian tribes began in the western part, which led to the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century. The empire rose as a result of the crisis of the Republic. Great systemic crises struck the Republic in its late period. Civil wars in the state led to this. The most famous conflict arose between prominent statesmen and commanders Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great, as a result of which Julius Caesar was killed 44 BC. Read more. How was the Roman Empire formed? Octavian managed to unite the Republic under his leadership. Soon, in 27 BCE, he received the title of Augustus from the Senate. That is, he actually became the first emperor. His power became all-encompassing and lifelong. This meant the end of the Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire stretched from Armenia to the Atlantic. Even in the first periods of its history, Rome conquered all Italian lands and cities. As a result of the Punic Wars 3 centuries BC, Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, and the western part of North Africa were captured. Rome became the largest Mediterranean power. Julius Caesar, in the middle of the 1st century BCE, became the ruler of Gaul. Emperor Octavian Augustus continued his conquests in Western Europe. As a result, by the end of the 1st century AD, under Emperor Trajan, the Roman Empire reached its maximum limits, from Armenia to the Atlantic coast. What countries were part of the Roman Empire? The entire African coast of the Mediterranean Sea was subordinated to Roman rule. In the east, territories as far as Iraq, Kuwait, Turkey, Syria. In Europe, the territories of modern England, Spain, Portugal, France, Switzerland, Austria, Hungary, and the Balkan countries. The largest cities of that time were subordinate to Rome: Constantinople, Alexandria, Jerusalem, Athens, Syracuse, Carthage, Corinth, Ephesus, Antioch. The foundation of the power of the Roman Empire was the army. On the borders of the huge Roman Empire there were from 25 to 34 legions, each consisting of 5,000 soldiers. It was the most advanced army of the time, formed from professional infantry and cavalry. Marines appeared in the Roman army, and the navy ensured the safety of the sea. The army was mobile, flexible, trained to operate in any conditions. Encyclopaedia Britannica and Oxford reference emphasize that the foundation on which the power of the Roman Empire rested was this outstanding army. In addition, with any threat to Rome, all production stopped working. Everyone who could bear arms was put into operation. Another factor that kept the vast empire going was reliable communications. The empire's roads were second to none, allowing for rapid movement of troops and facilitating trade and postal communications. The Roman economy was based on slavery. In the initial period, 2 layers were distinguished in society: the patricians, indigenous inhabitants of Rome, and the plebeians, newcomer population. Over time, the social structure became more complex, and not very noble horsemen appeared who were engaged in trade and financial affairs. But wealth was concentrated in their hands, and soon the patricians and horsemen merged into the ruling class, the nobility. The main division in society was between free citizens and slaves. Free citizens were slave owners, and the majority were engaged in agriculture and crafts. They were joined by the urban proletariat. Prisoners of war were turned into slaves during the wars. More than 0.5 million of them were recruited. State slaves worked in mines and workshops. Others were the property of their masters, part of their property. Ancient slavery became the basis of the Roman economy. During the period of the empire, slaves began to be freed en masse because their labor turned out to be low productive. Freedmen, they were called, clients remained under the protection of their former owners, who became their patrons. Christianity